Hello, everybody. This is Priya Parthasarathi. Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Digital. If you are a business owner or an entrepreneur trying to use digital platforms in order to grow your business, subscribe to my channel. I explain digital concepts in a very easy and simple manner in a way that you can apply them to your business successfully. Today, let's talk about how you can use social media to build your brand online. There is a general misconception that brand building is for big brands. Nothing can be farther from truth. Brand building could be applied for any business, however small your business could be. In fact, your brand is what your customers think about you. That is, in essence, defines your brand, not any of the other symbols, having a logo, a nice logo, or colors, all of that. They're just symbols of a brand. Let me illustrate with an example. A few weeks back, my Gmail was not working. I couldn't look at my emails. The first thought that occurred to me was something was wrong with my system. So I shut it down and I restarted it. I still couldn't log into my email server. The next thought was, okay, something's wrong with my internet. So I went and switched off my internet modem and then switched it on again to reset it so that I thought maybe it will start working. Even after that, it didn't work. Then my next thought was, okay, something's wrong with I use a Mac. So I thought maybe something's wrong with the Safari browser. Let me try it on a Chrome browser. Still, I couldn't see my emails. And that's when I thought, okay, I should go on Twitter and see are other people having the same problem. I did, and I realized that there was a breakdown in the Gmail server. It came back on within maybe half an hour, they had restored it. My experience was the experience of a lot of other people. Many people had commented about it. None of us had thought that anything could be wrong with the Gmail server. We all thought something was wrong with our computers or our internet provider or our browsers. Nobody thought that Google could have a problem. And that is the power of the brand. Google is not about their brand name or their logo. Google is all about the trust as consumers we have. We imagine that a company like Google, a brand like Google, could never have a shutdown. So, that in essence is the brand power of Google. So now Google is a big brand. You could think that this is only possible for big brands, but not necessarily. The trust that your consumers have on you could be applied to any business. Could be a very small business or a large business. So I have a istri wala that comes to my home. He takes the clothes. I actually count it when I give it to him, because it's out of habit I do that. But when he brings the clothes back, I never count it because I believe that he would never make a mistake, and I just pay him whatever he tells me, whatever the amount. He's built a brand with me by his actions, by his promptness, by his delivery on time, by him being. He will always give me the exact change. If he comes and says that it costs 192 rupees for this week's clothes ironing, if I give him 200, he would always ensure that he gives me that 8 rupees back. So these kind of actions of his build has built his brand with me. Does he have a brand name and a logo and all? Nothing. But there is a brand associated with his services, right? So that is what is the meaning of brand building. And this is possible for any business, however small you are, through social media, because it is an easy way for you to connect with your consumers. Brand building is very different from sales marketing, right? Where you talk about your product or your service and say how wonderful you are, how what great qualities your product has. All that is very salesy, where you're pitching your product. But brand is not just that. Brand is not just your product or your service. It's about everything that you encompass. It's about if you're selling something, even if it's like in the case of these three wala, he is selling his services of ironing my clothes, but his brand involves a lot more things, right? It's all about the other ancillary services he gives. And he always comes on a particular day in a week. I can count on him being there on that day so that I don't have to worry about my kids' clothes not getting ironed on time for school and things like that. It's about him always having change on him. It's about him always ensuring that my clothes never go missing. So all of these are also part of his brand or his product service offering. I would like to give another example. There is this company called Paper Boat. They make drinks, beverages. They call it traditional beverages. So they sell things like Amras, Jaljeera, Neermor, things that the pre-Coca-Cola era children were used to drinking at home. Behemoths like Coke and Pepsi dominate the soft drink markets in India. Yet, a small company was able to make a difference. This paper boat was able to make inroads in the segments they operate in because they used a very wonderful ploy to market to their consumers. Now they realized their consumers were not the millennials. Their consumers were the people who had experienced the traditional drinks before these kind of soft drink giants came and took over the market. So the kids who grew up in the 70s, 80s, and probably early part of the 90s who were used to consuming traditional Indian drinks, and they chose them as their target audience. And they found a very clever way to communicate with those audience. If you will visit Paperboat's social media handles, you would see that there is hardly any mention of the product they sell. They never even mention their or put the pictures of their products on their social handles. It's all about the childhood memories of their target audience. So they have very nice cartoon strips running about how school life was in the 80s in India, how train journeys were. This was a generation that was not used to crisscrossing the country on airlines. So this was a country that traveled on these huge, 2 day long train journeys that went from Delhi to Chennai and from Kolkata to Mumbai. So these were children that grew up, spent a lot of time in train journeys. All their cartoon strips are kind of, it kindles a memory in people who see that, saying, "Oh yeah, this I used to do this." So this is how they market. In fact, their tagline is drinks and memories. They're trying to sell memories, not drinks, and that is how they position their brand. In fact, their social media posts are shared widely across even WhatsApp groups. So what happens is everybody becomes like a brand ambassador for them. That brand name keeps getting repeated, and when you see that, all these posts will have that one small paper boat that is their logo on those creatives. And when you see that, immediately it brings back memories of your school days, your childhood. I mean, who doesn't love their childhood? People have such fond memories of. Generally, people, in their late 30s and 40s have a yearning for going back, because you're kind of stressed with your everyday life, and you have this yearning for the simple days of your childhood. And all of these memories get evoked when you see that small paper boat. A wonderful piece of branding that they have done on social media. It's not about selling their product at all. It's about connecting with their consumers. They knew who their target audience was, and they're connecting with their consumers. That's it. And then the selling happens incidentally, that happens automatically. Of course, it's not to say that they don't have product selling spends. There will be advertisements on other channels where they are selling the product per se. But again, it's all connected to this theme of childhood memories. So what does it come down to? So it comes down to talking to the people or your target audience in a way that relates to them. It's not about social media, is not about, I mean, when social media started, it was all about connecting people. Brands found a place in it, and they found a place to sell their products through it, was a secondary thing. But the primary purpose of social media was to connect people. And even today, that is the primary purpose of social media. All the selling and all the brand building that happens is just incidental. It is also happening. But if you miss the point about connecting to people, you will not be successful on social media. Three kinds of content work on social media. One is to entertain your audience, the other one is to educate them, and the third one is to inspire them. So these three kinds of content work really well. Education is where it doesn't have to be just about your product. It could be about everything that is related to what your customers are interested in. So before my avatar as a digital marketing consultant, I used to be an entrepreneur, e-commerce entrepreneur, along with a friend of mine. We were running a brand called Mayazar, on built primarily on Facebook engagements. We were selling fashion jewelry online, and we were able to establish very deep connection with our audience, because it was not all about the jewelry. We used to talk about many things, challenges that women of a certain age face. It could be challenges of everyday life, challenges of parenting, challenges of juggling between parenthood and a career. So things that a lot of women in my age group at that time could identify with, and we knew that they were our target audience. Women in their 30s and 40s who had the spending power to spend on themselves, and who were very conscious about an image they were portraying. So our target audience was very clear, and actually it was us. So we talked about all that mattered to us, and that became an instant hit. with our target audience. We also used to talk about social responsibility of women. In fact, one of the very endearing moments of our entrepreneurial journey was our ability to help the victims of the Chennai flood. We had put together some relief kits, and we appealed to our audience to donate to these relief kits so that we could hand them over to some of the families affected by the flood. And donations started pouring in from across the globe from all our customers, and that was very heartwarming for us. It was a testament to the trust we had built with our target audience, with our customers, and that is very crucial in brand building on social media, is to build this level of trust. It was very easy for me to make the switch to become a digital marketing consultant because I realized that I understood something about social media. It was not about the technology behind social media, it was about the people using social media. And that is what is at the heart of social media marketing. Because at the heart of every sale is trust. And if you build trust, you made the sale. If you'd like to know how your brand can utilize social media to do brand building, and if you'd like to have a consult with me, you could reach out to me at priya@prequellab.com. That's all for today. I hope you've understood a little bit about how social media could be used for brand building, or why social media should be used for brand building. For more such content, subscribe to my channel. See you next week. Bye bye.